Hi everyone, number one Marmaduke fan here. When I went to the old school comic book store in my town, I got a couple copies of Donald Duck's Halloween Scream. They had a big stack of them, and none of the other comic book stores I went to had this. So I'm guessing it was just a thing where if your comic book store decided to participate in it, they probably got a bunch. If they didn't decide to participate in it, you're probably stuck. But I'm so glad I found this. This was a lot of fun. Uh, and I'm going to make these two prizes. Now, in the past, I've made prizes for if you like and share or comment on one of my vids. But for these, I really want to encourage people to go to a comic book store. And we're getting towards Christmas, so if you have kids or if you want to get a gift for some nephews and nieces or grandkids in your life, then here's my challenge. So if you would like to win one of these two copies, and this is a free comic book day comic, so I'll sweeten the pot by adding a fun drawing. I'll just come up with something either Marmaduke related or Donald Duck related. So you want a free comic and a drawing sent to you. If you go to a comic book store, ask them if they have Donald Duck's Halloween Scream. If they have it, there you go. You get your copy. You can give it to a kid. If they don't have a copy of Donald Duck's Halloween Scream, buy a comic book at the comic book store and tweet me or email me a pic of the comic book you bought. And the first two people who do that, who tried to get Donald Duck's Halloween Scream and couldn't get it, I will send you a copy and a drawing to sweeten the pot. My Twitter's at @no1marmadukefan. My email is no1marmadukefan@gmail.com. First to come, first served. I'll update the description when these two are claimed. So, the artist and letterer and writer is William Van Horn, and he's pretty strong, but I wouldn't call him. It's not the same fluidity that a Carl Barks might have, but he's drawing the ducks well, and he does some interesting stuff with their expressions. There's a panel later where I think there was a weak expression next to a really strong expression, and this is a fun, entertaining book. It's a free comic book day book. It's a reprint from a 1991, and I enjoyed it. I'm just so happy that IDW is doing this, and I have been loving the quality of the Duck comics overall. If you want my personal recommendation on what one to buy when you go to the comic book store, get you some Duck Avenger, number 0 through number 5. That's one of the finest comics I ever read. The other Duck comics are generally pretty strong, but sometimes there'll be a little bit of a mixed bag approach where they'll have some weaker ones mixed in with some really strong ones, but I'm very, very happy that I've started to buy Duck comics from IDW and that IDW is importing these, so I want to support this. So the setup is that Donald Duck wants to go into house painting, and he wants to be as good a painter as Rembrandt, and the nephews are roasting him a bit for that. And he gets a job painting a house and drives off before listening carefully to what's going on. And what it turns out is that the house may be haunted, and the nephews get the mischievous idea to go prank Uncle Donald. While Uncle Donald is in there, things seem to be mysteriously moving on their own, and then the nephews show up to pull some mean pranks on their uncle. They retreat to the basement to continue their shenanigans. Oh, I think I might have skipped. There we go. This is the panel I was looking at earlier. So you can see how he is distorting the beak here to try to get an evil sneer, and it's a pretty weak expression, but this sort of just simple smile is a much better use of the expression with the shape of the duck bill. So I've seen artists better manipulate the duck bill to get a range of expressions, but so weak, strong, just interesting to see those two together. Very simple compositions, not super dynamic. Duck Avenger and the superhero stories were a lot more dynamic in their compositions and the action. Lots of worm's eye views, lots of bird's eye views. So the Duck Avenger was a lot more ambitious than this, but for kind of straightforward Disney comedy, this is doing effectively. I laughed while reading this. They do funny things. It builds up towards a climax, which I'm not going to spoil because I want you to go get this yourself. And this is a great free comic book. It's not a free comic book day book, which sucks. It's a free comic book day book, which I actually enjoyed. Thanks to my Twitter fam for recommending me to go look for this. So to review, if you tried to get this and you couldn't get it, that's who I want to give this to. So don't enter this if you already got your copy. Go to your comic book store, ask them if they have it. If they don't have it, buy a comic book at your local comic book store and tweet me or email me. I'll put my Twitter and email in the description. First two who comment get these two and a drawing from me. Love you guys. I'm #1 Marmaduke fan. I may have to send these out after Christmas break when I get back because I don't want to pack them and then have them ripped or torn up on the transference. So there may be a week or two delay before I can get these sent out to you. But love you guys. Catch you later.